How hot is it in Columbus right now?
God. Yeah, it's about 90.
Whoa, man.
God, 90.
Yeah. We get a little bit of cool breeze here and there now. We're starting to feel a little bit of fall whispering to us from the north, but
from your parts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're hopeful for the mild weather.
I'm still hot from my bike ride earlier, so that shows I'm still trying to cool off.
We had to film outside yesterday for like most of the day, and I put sunscreen on, but then I get home and my forehead is just like so burnt. But that's because I have a giant forehead that you could like land an airplane on. So it gets a lot of
hats. I have to wear hats.
Yeah. I definitely had to wear a hat.
All right, so when I wear a hat, it looks like I just have a mullet. So it's like, I don't know. I either look like I have a mullet or I get sunburnt.
It's a lose-lose.
Yeah. Oh, man. Thank you guys for coming on the show with us and everything. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, we're so excited. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
How have you been? I feel like, I don't know, when was the last time we saw you in person? Like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
2018.
Wow.
That's been 2 years next month.
Especially since the pandemic happened, that seems like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this year feels both like an eternity and the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's a surreal feeling.
It's September, fall.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So, like, tell us a little about what's been going on with the, I know you guys have had to reschedule your festival and everything. What's going on now?
We're finally there. It took us 3 times to get to the point to where we were like, okay, this is actually going to happen. So it's been on hold for several months now. But the way we're able to do it now is make it a drive-in.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had it completely planned, like had meetings and everything, and we had to just cancel it. We were one of the first people to cancel our event too. So we actually got a little, or I should say we didn't cancel it, we postponed it.
Right.
We got whack actually a little bit. People were like, no. And I was like, look, I've been following this thing since February, and I don't want to be the one, we're not going to be responsible. Like there was a social responsibility there. And the way we had the film festival set up was everyone's going to pile in together. We were going to have a podcast set up stairs like y'all, everybody, it was just going to be packed out as possible. And so we were on track to really sell it out, but it was like, this is not going to work. So, postpone it to May 31st, not going to work. And then like Cora said, we were able to release last week that we have a drive-in. And, we just made it going virtual. There's a lot of people going virtual. But we really wanted to keep that connection. And with this change of season, we're hopeful that we will see decrease in numbers and that we'll be able to really maintain safe distance. People can be in cars.
Yeah.
Have box seats set up. You want to set up, talk a little bit about the setup?
Yeah, so we're really excited about the location.
Yes.
It's off of 6th Street, which I know you guys are a little, privy to the downtown area.
Yeah.
So it's not right downtown, but it's in an area across the main strip of Veterans Parkway that's going to help merge those 2 areas of downtown. So it's always going to be disconnected. So we're really excited about having the drive-in in a huge parking lot of what's called the Lofts at Swift Mill. So it's residential and commercial property. It's a mix. And there's a huge parking lot there. And we're working with the property managers right now. And it's a complete go. Right across the street, there's a brand new brewery called Chattahoochee. And it's kind of in this block of like antique thrift shops and things like that. And so they've been trying to activate this area for a while. And so we're excited to bring our event to that area to just kind of bring more people in.
Yeah.
And also give the residents of the Lofts something they can literally walk into their backyard and enjoy.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I love about you guys. You're always doing stuff to grow the community in your area, not just the filmmaking world, but like the whole, it's stuff
Columbus area.
Yeah, it benefits the whole Columbus area. It benefits people who own a business there or whatever, or people who just live there and go to school there. So I think that's a really cool thing that you guys do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What she was saying was connecting the two downtowns. What she was referring to was our downtown has experienced a huge revitalization. And where we're going to be is connecting Uptown, as it's been branded, and Midtown, which Midtown is really going through a lot of revitalization. If it's a true revitalization in an area or community, it spreads, right? It doesn't just in one area. So this has been a really kind of a linchpin in that connection to those developments and just its spreading. So it has been fun to be a part of that. That's kind of what brought us into bringing a film festival to our area, is the revitalization. We felt kind of called back here to our hometown to be a part of that. When the dam was busted in 2013, we became the longest urban whitewater rafting in the world, and something was unleashed, not just in the water, but just kind of in the spiritual, if you will, in the sense of revitalization and renaissance. And obviously with the film tax credits, we've been trying to get film, and it's the economic impact. So it's another industry we can bring here in this renaissance.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little, can we go back in time a little? I'd love to hear about that, about how you guys started Way Down and all that stuff, because I mean, we've told people forever, like when we first met you guys, when we first went to Way Down, it was like our favorite festival, like, because you guys just did such a good job of treating the artists really well. We had great like Q&As, stuff that a lot of festivals drop the ball on. Unfortunately, it's things that they don't think about, those little details, which made it just an awesome experience for us. So can you tell us about that a little? Like, just, you were kind of going into it there, but how did you guys get involved in that, or in the initial steps of starting your own film festival?
You'll say your part and I'll say mine.
Sure.
There you go.
When we started Way Down, for Jacy and I, it was really an opportunity to enhance film in the Columbus area and to help budding filmmakers realize that there's a platform for their voices, their stories. And we got incredible community support. Several local businesses helped sponsor us, and kind of just, we all kind of worked together to make something great happen the first year. And then we decided, let's do this the second year. And then fortunately we were able to run for 3 years. A big part of what we wanted to do, aside from just giving filmmakers a platform, is also to celebrate them and have that real Southern hospitality feel. Make them feel warm and welcome. And also, we wanted to show off our town. We wanted to show off how great it was here. And so many people in the community were really excited that filmmakers were coming from all over to spend the weekend in their town and have conversations with them about the film world. So it was all around a really great experience, and I'm glad that you guys felt that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. So we kind of had two different, of course, experiences. I came at it in 2014, created a blog, which Cora, it's kind of a blog and movement Cora's been a huge part of as well, called Electric City Life. So Electric City Life, Electric City was an old nickname of Columbus, Georgia, in a rapid revitalization. And we actually discovered that at the National Infantry Museum, one of our great museums here, top museum, free museum in the country, I'll say a little accolade. Wow. And there's this incredible timeline. And then we were like, why is it still a moniker, Electric City? Like, that's so cool, right? And, we were the last city to be established in the 13 colonies. So we've been around a while. Like, why did we lose this? And so we were like, we're in another movement. We're in another revitalization movement. This isn't more indicative of what's going on right now. So Electric City Life really birthed a lot of this, if you will, because we were realizing there's this huge revitalization or renaissance, and it's not being really covered. And we were like changing our town's SEO. There was so much negativity. There was so much crime. People, we were actually helping recruit people here because we were changing that, they're wanting to come here. So we're like, okay, in this, I felt like we need to come together as a community and talk about different subjects, because people were so passionate online, and it was all online. We were just doing blogs and social media stuff, right? And so we had these meeting the minds. And so that kind of launched in a lot of ways one of the first subjects that we talked about August 2015 at the Loft was film. And my persistent question has been, where is Columbus, Georgia's seat at the table? We've got a huge, booming Georgia film economy, but where is Columbus? Like we are the second biggest city in the state. You know, we should really have a nice seat at the table. Savannah's doing great things. Macon's doing great things. You know, we met y'all at the Macon Film Festival. We love Terrell. I mean, obviously everybody loves Terrell. He's great. You know? And you know, he's been a huge part of it. So we started, after that meeting, it really connected us into that world. Like we brought a lot of people into that meeting, and that was just a packed out meeting. So from there, then we also started working for Fun Academy Motion Picture Studios. So we actually helped our friend bring a motion picture studio here, and she worked for a couple months on it, and then she got recruited to some national artists, and I stayed on and finished the project until, you know, it was released. And that was Fun Academy Motion Picture Studios is here. It's a distribution company, a motion picture studio that released an international film, Sergeant Stubby and American Hero. And so there started to be these kind of sectionalities happening here. You know, we have a distribution company. That's what you want for a film festival, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of, I kind of say fast forward on that there's been a new one released from Crystal Treywick, who actually brought us on to Fun Academy. So there is Fall Line Trace Entertainment, I believe Motion Picture Studios is actually a distribution company that was just announced and released here in the last couple weeks. And she was on the track. And when we saw y'all in October 2018, she was on that track, but you know, COVID, and she had a baby and all this stuff, but she's actually has a pipeline and everything. So much kind of happened from that meeting the minds, but also from that first film festival where we were able to really kind of corral folks and do it, you know, invite y'all, you know, it recruit filmmakers here. And so it really started making a big difference. We started seeing we were actually recruiting films and TV shows. And the biggest thing was sparking the indigenous film culture and scene and sparking those local filmmakers.
Yeah.
We're Southerners. We like to tell stories, you know? So we wanted to spark that. And in our community, there's so many stories. So, you know, we could talk and talk, but I think that's a good kind of path on from what she said into where it kind of intersected in the beginning. And then now, Pop-Up Town was a business. I've had a pop-up shop for the last year or so. And so we thought, we'll do a pop-up video film fest, and we'll pop up there, and we'll do a short film and festival, and then we'll pop up somewhere else and have different kind of genres, TV, feature film, and have different places. So we did have a plan for this kind of name for it to be a drive-in, so that worked out. You know,
it just wasn't the initial idea.
Exactly. Right.
So with the drive-in theater, I'm just kind of curious, whenever people show up, how are you guys doing Q&As and stuff like that, and kind of handling some of the specifics with having to change the festival up and have it be a drive-in theater? Kind of what's the plan or idea there that you guys came up with?
That's a great question. Well, we really lucked out with the location because it's going to hold about 90 vehicles.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's completely open space. There's nothing covered. On the side of that, we've got a gravel area for some food trucks for people that want to.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, enjoy some vendors and a bar, of course.
Awesome.
And we also have a really grassy area for people that do want to bring their families and have lawn seats, blankets, things like that. So we also have an area that's going to be for VIP and the filmmakers, and it's kind of a secluded area. It's really a courtyard that's in the middle of the two brick buildings on the sides. And so we're able to accommodate VIP and filmmakers. We're also able to, where the screen's going to be placed, we're going to have box seats for people that can come right up front, and that's kind of part of the VIP package. And then we've got a place for plenty of vehicles to come in. You know, you you pack 5 people in a car,
Yeah.
that's great. You know, one ticket price, what did we say, like $45 for like the 5 people per car. So that's a great deal for the film festival for our community.
Is that a limit? Is it a limit on the people in the car?
We
5.
we say
Okay.
5.
All right.
Yeah, people don't get crazy.
It's
you know?
$30 for, or wait a minute, now I'm mixing it up. Is it $20? Yeah, it's all on there, but $45 will be for a 6-person box seat.
Okay.
So we're trying to make it reasonable.
So you don't want people being like clowns and packing in a car and 30 people are in there.
Your question, yes. Well, we'll get some of that.
Yeah.
And they're going to have stuff, sneaking it in and stuff, so that'll be fine. I'm trying to answer your question about the live Q&A.
Yeah, with the live Q&A, what's great about our setup is we're going to have an FM station that Bluetooths everything in.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
in the vehicles, you'll have the sound in your vehicle, and then we'll also have external speakers for everyone who's sitting outside and at the food trucks and things like that.
So cool.
So the Q&As will be in person. We'll be inviting people to the Q&As. We'll have it social distance in front of the huge screen, and then we'll have a camera on that goes to the big screen. So they'll be able to see people at the Q&A, hear them in their vehicles, hear them in the area.
And we'll socially distance. We'll have as many mics as we can, so we're not passing that around. We'll have, the sanitizer and everything. We actually have a meeting, a logistical meeting with our Columbus Tape and Video. They always help us out every year, and they're going to be setting up the screen and setting up the sound. And they're really excited, and people really are excited to come together. And some of the older people and some people are going to just sit in their cars, and that's fine. They're not going to feel comfortable. But, some people are going to want to kind of venture out and socially distance. So even with the food truck lines, we're going to be monitoring everything. And we'll monitor that. She mentions that VIP slot. And so that's kind of up in the air. We'll see about the numbers because we don't want people just packing in anywhere.
Yeah, right.
So the box seats is where we found people will be able to kind of be up front, but be spread apart. And usually people, they usually come with somebody, but they're usually coming to about up to 6 people.
Yeah, right. Did you feel like going into it, like, you said earlier, we had everything planned out. We were ready to go. And now it's like almost a 180 of having to revamp the whole festival. Did you face it as like, this is a big challenge, or were you like, oh, this is fun again? We're having to kind of almost do it like a puzzle. Yeah.
COVID, there's some dark times. I think we all really just had to kind of hunker down. And maybe, I hope we're kind of through it, but maybe we're not, I don't know, with some faith. And there was some discouragement. We were ready. Like everything, we had already had our logistical, like, run of show meeting. And so I was incredibly discouraged. I will say at first, actually, I was fine. I was like, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. And then it was like, okay, wow, we've got to plan everything. And like, May 31st didn't work out. And then, but when we got this location, we kept thinking, we want to do a drive-in. We want to bring people together and socially distance. But we kept thinking about where is this perfect place? And actually, Cora has worked at this with No Loss. Bo Bartlett and Betsy Evie both have studios there. And we've done a lot of artistic like tours and artistic things. And she's been out of there, and a lot of Renaissance, a lot of artists are there. So when finally it dawned on me, it was like, this is a perfect place. And they were so on board and looking for us. It felt like we got re-energized.
Yeah.
And that was just a couple of weeks ago, guys.
That's cool.
So
Wow.
It did take us a second,
Yeah, we went through a similar process because we have our own film festival we do called Sozo Bear Presents a Night at the Movies that we've been doing for like 3 years. And it's this really cool historic theater in downtown Dahlonega. And similar to you guys, like we love like where we live. We have like a lot of pride in it. And we wanted to bring films to this area and like encourage local filmmakers and all that stuff. But we had this event planned and COVID hit, and it was like, we saw you guys, I think, had postponed, and we were pretty much like, we're going to have to postpone. When we did that, we had another date, and we were getting closer to that date. We started to get a little pushback from people that were like, even at, a third capacity or whatever, you guys are putting people in danger and whatever. We were like, man, this isn't going to be good. what can we do? And we decided to do it online. But once we made that decision, it was like, we're going to just try to have as much fun, do this as cool as we can, and still make it like a fun event, and do the Q&A through the YouTube chat. And, luckily we had, my brother-in-law knows how to do broadcast stuff. So we had just,
thankfully,
we had like we had multiple cameras. It was insane.
Yes.
I mean, we had multiple cameras, and we had like a
overlays,
teleprompter. We had like the graphics overlays. All this stuff was happening live, and then of course screening all the movies, and then lining up all these filmmakers to come on a Q&A like we're doing now, basically through Zoom, and it worked out great. It like you missed that, like the excitement in the room of watching a movie with everyone. And getting to see your crew and everything from when you finished making the movie. But other than that, I mean, it was a pretty successful night.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are having to switch to that model.
but yeah, I like what you said, where it's almost like you have to take a step back and go, this is going to be fun. It's a new challenge, like we'll make the most of it. Obviously you want to have people all together, but the socially responsible decision is to, have socially distance or go the virtual route. But, it's almost like as creatives, you got to get creative and, make it work, because we need film festivals. Yeah,
exactly. They're looking to us like, what are you going to do? And we're like, we need some inspiration.
Yeah.
But we got some, and so we're grateful for that. We really are. So when we feel that the season's changing, is for me, it's always an energizing time. It's kind of a refocus and getting into gear, and so we've kind of both felt that way in a lot of sense. We got that re-energizing, and then we've got a good team around us. Like we already met with a couple of our folks, and they're on it, and they're amazing. Yeah. So.
Hey, I have a question, and this is a kind of a different direction, but and forgive my ignorance if I don't know these things, but have you guys done have you worked in filmmaking yourselves, other than, because you're so organized and good, I mean, I'd imagine you'd be good producers and stuff like that. Have you done filmmaking?
I just worked with the Fun Academy Motion Picture Studios, really on the business side.
Yeah.
I have dabbled in production, and actually we've set up like a production office on Broadway.
Yeah.
And so I've been learning. And honestly, virtual was to me, that was a big deal, because I knew it was going to be a lot of production that was a little bit over, and we're going to have to maybe pay a lot of people or get a lot of people on our team.
Yeah.
So that's really been the extent of mine. And then through Electric City Life, we do like videos and stuff. But I am open, and this is kind of that time to get creative. And then you've been involved in stuff, and filmmaking stuff.
I've helped with filmmaking, but as far as like production work or anything like that, no, I haven't. I've rewritten scripts for people. I've helped write scripts for people, but and I've been on set with people before, and I've done a little bit of acting, but not in the way that the filmmakers do. I'm definitely not in that realm. But what COVID has done, I mean, for everybody, is it's made everybody just boil themselves down and get still enough to go, now what?
Yeah.
That's where the creativity, and that's where the inspiration to gain more skill sets and gain more knowledge and get creative and really just get original with stuff has come, because we've kind of silenced ourselves from each other and the chaos. And then it's like, oh, this is my brain. Here's what I want to do. Okay, this could be cool. But I feel like we've slowed down enough just as a population I know in talking to a lot of creatives, we've felt that way. Like, I've had some really cool ideas come from this quiet time of just having to like kind of hunker down, like Jacy was saying. So that it's been a big silver lining there for a lot of creatives.
And Cora does beautiful art. So she has actually really been taking the time to produce a lot of art.
Oh, cool.
I've been doing music. We actually had artists stay here with us. We have a couple bedroom house, so that was really exciting. And working with people in Nashville and locally. Again, I've written music since I was 7, but I've never really I've never stopped working on a project or helping someone else or this or that to really develop and produce my own. So again, a lot of this is kind of putting that, getting it done. Some of our visions, but there has been some blocks, so there are some blocks, but then we've been really encouraged by some people being put in our paths to kind of help us keep the spark going. I mean, how's it been for y'all and your spark?
It's like, I don't know. There's times where it's like difficult to get motivated. Even in the midst of like when we first had the lockdown and stuff, we all started working from home, but then we all of a sudden got a bunch of editing jobs we had to do because like for our day-to-day work, because mostly for the university here, like they still had to get their message out during the COVID times. So there was like they were filming their own videos and sending them to us. So it was like not the most fulfilling work, because it was like we love to like film and make something, really craft some, even if it's a commercial or something. We want it to be like beautiful and whatever, but it was people had to film with their cell phones and laptops, and then we had to edit it. So that all of a sudden took up a lot of our time. Yeah, like we were doing like,
I feel like a video a day,
like a video a day, pretty much
for each of us.
We were having to like get done. Yeah, I mean it was an insane amount of videos, but it's like we've since then though, it's especially once we got back in the office working together, we've started brainstorming all these new ideas and like kind of micro short ideas and stuff like that we want to do. So I feel like the spark's coming back.
I would say we really kind of just took off and have leaped forward and kind of like what we want to do creatively and stuff. Yeah. We've really just been able to use the time in quarantine and stuff as like a launch pad to go forward.
Oh, I mean, I'll brag on these two guys for a little bit. Like Luke's been doing a lot of like personally outside of the business, photoshops of himself. Last week he put himself on a seagull while he was on vacation at the beach.
I'm like a warrior. The seagull's breathing fire.
Pretty wild. And then Ellis has been doing a lot of like 3D design scenes. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, like CGI scenes, 3D modeled scenes and stuff.
Where these are things where he like makes everything in the space, like from nothing as a 3D model, and he molds it in the computer. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they've been on top of everything we're doing here. It's just they've been doing a lot of creative work kind of in their free time. So I think that's another example of kind of coming out of this and just going, hey, I want to get really creative with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You all are insanely talented. I can't wait to see what comes from this new spark.
Thanks.
I got a picture of when we were talking of like a bow and arrow, and it's like getting pulled back. And just
yeah.
And I feel like that is kind of a time for some of us too. We just kind of been stretching back, and now we're just about to launch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we've just really, really loved your work. I mean, we kind of stalked you from the moment, making film festival. So we can't not talk about that for a little bit, and about your movie and film that you're going to be we're going to have the privilege of showcasing at our film festival. So I would love to just kind of chat about that a little bit, because I know some of our folks are going to be, watching this.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Hear about what your process, maybe some like cliff notes, or like some inspiration, and maybe where that's going to take you next.
Yeah. And this is episode 1, right? Okay, I get so confused. I get confused because we're trying to work on the series and everything, But yeah, so the cool thing about the first episode of Encounters is it started as a commercial for our company, Sozo Bear Films. Like we made a commercial that was like, alien themed, and then this whole just insane process came from it, where people, our crew and our friends and stuff were like, this is really cool, like why aren't we making this into a film, like a short film, instead of just a commercial? So Brad and I sat down and figured out a way to like take pieces of that, and instead of reshooting like the abduction scene, for instance, we were able to keep that and reshoot more like the beginning and the ending and stuff, like, or wrote a new story to go with it.
And that was tough. It's like taking like a minute and a half commercial and taking really the 10-15 seconds of the middle of it, and then going, okay, how can we reshape this into a 7-minute short film? So even though that abduction scene was so crucial, and we knew, like, for one, logistically it would be insane to try to shoot it again because it turned out really awesome. It took a lot of work to do, but it's like, how do you know that like we were saying earlier, it's like a puzzle. You have that one piece, and then you're like, I've got to find how to fit this into a new story but keep it exactly as is. And I don't know, it's a weird way to write a script. For sure. And
then it was like us just going, once we had the kind of finished script, we felt like this sounds like a Twilight Zone episode or something, and that's when we started going like, why don't we expand on this idea? We could probably do like an anthology or whatever, and that led us to the Seed and Spark campaign, where we were trying to raise the budget to like shoot some more of these episodes. And then we shot episode 2, and like we just released it at our online event we were telling you about, and so far people were getting really good response on that one as well.
And that's kind of the plan. Obviously episode 1's been in a lot of film festivals, including yours, that will be playing in November, but we'll each year we'll be releasing, next year's film festival cycle will be episode 2. So that's kind of like a plan, is people who go to, these festivals yearly will be able to kind of see an episode, of the series and kind of watch it, kind of in a really long form way. It's not like,
we're the opposite of binge culture.
But I think it'll be a cool way to kind of grow with the audience, and they're like, oh, I remember Encounters, and now I'm watching episode 2, or now I'm watching episode 3, so they can follow along just by showing up to their local film festival.
Unless by chance somehow we're able to make more episodes faster one of these days. It takes us a long time to make a movie.
Is there any plan on how many episodes that y'all are going to be doing?
Till the end of time.
We had like 5 mapped out basically for this like first season, so I guess that's the plan for now. But luckily, it's like a pretty fluid project. We could pretty much, like, for instance, episode 2 was supposed to be episode 3, but we flip-flopped them because we were like, well, there's this CGI plant in episode 2. It might be too hard to do, and then we ended up doing a bunch of CGI in what in the dinner party. What
Honestly,
became episode 2.
That was probably harder than what episode 3 would have been.
Like he ended up making a monster, like in episode, like alien monster thing, which we were just gonna make a plant. So it was probably a harder project, but I don't know. That's how it worked out.
Y'all actually created the CGI and the animation in some. Wow.
Yeah, that's Ellis. That's Ellis.
Well, I came into the office one day because we didn't know what it was going to look like, and Luke, over the weekend, had just modeled with clay what the monster would look like on a whim. And like he just had a whole clay monster just made, and I was like, oh, okay. And just like took it and just imported some pictures of it for like reference, and just like started making it from there, and it just happened.
Yeah, and then he had to animate it and stuff too. It's a crazy process if you see that actually done. People think you can just do anything as CGI, which is kind of true, but not. Like, you got to plan for the shot, like what you're wanting it to do, because we've all seen bad CGI. It's like it can be terrible, but so you have to plan for the shot, for your lighting, take pictures there on set of the references of what the lights looked like, make notes of what the color temperature was maybe, or whatever. There's so many things to make it look realistic. And then even once he made it, it's like it still looks kind of fake unless you add a bunch of grain and blur and things that film digital video, even with digital video, imperfections that are there when you're filming, you got to add those imperfections. Otherwise it looks like
because it's like a perfect thing inside a shot that has a bunch of grain and blur and like motion blur. You have to go into like this perfect model, and you have to kind of muddy it up a little bit to match what the footage looks like.
Creating the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That was one thing I was able to get to appreciate and see behind the scenes. We both were able to go to Paris to our studio. Fun Academy studio was making. It was all CGI. The Sergeant Stubby American Hero, and we would. People, it'd be like 20 people working all week, 60 hours, and be 10-second clips.
Yeah.
And it would just to be perfect to have to go back. But sometimes, it was a dog, so it's like, okay, that looks fake. You know, it'd just be like so close, but something's off. Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the way that arm is.
There was one guy, and his whole job for like 6 months was the dog's tongue.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I mean, you know, there was at the end, the last year, we had 200 animators working out of Montreal. So, and we were partnering with a subsidiary of Technicolor. So they had the Technicolor in Montreal was set up. So we were able to just basically take over a floor, and even at a time 2 floors.
Whoa.
Because we just had to have that many. And so when I asked, y'all are doing CGI, I get it. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It was really incredible to go in the studio and see the artists do their work. I mean, it's
mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing work, and like you said, Luke, unless you've seen the process, you don't appreciate it. Like since then, I've never watched a CGI movie the same way.
Yeah, we're like, oh, good animation, you know.
I was just like blown away.
We watched that with our niece last night, like our nieces last night, and we're always like, since then, we're never the same. Now we're CGI geeks.
We're like, did you see their move? Look how realistic. Do you know how long it took them to do?
Oh man, I do the exact same thing.
We totally do that.
Yes.
I feel bad too. Sometimes people will be like, oh, that Avengers movie sucked or whatever, and it's just like there's like 1,000 people
so much work.
Did so much work for like 4 years to make that happen.
Well, and you know what? A big thing that was in our hearts to start the film festival was also to help the just common knowledge in the film industry. This stuff is a labor of love. This stuff is really hard to do, and you sit there and you're so critical as a consumer of television and movies and animation and all of that. And, you know, it's so easy for us as a consumer to be so critical.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you actually talk to the creators and learn these terms and learn how these processes work, you look at it with a completely different outlook. You're more positive, you're compassionate, you really, it just is so helpful and encouraging to creative people. And that's what we wanted with the film festival. We wanted to start those conversations so that everybody is knowledgeable about what it takes.
Do you feel like people in Columbus have really like become more appreciative of just the filmmaking in general?
Art form of...
And I think seeing that it's economic impact, whether for altruistic reasons, you know, for empathy and appreciation of the arts, which is a lot of people. There is a lot of people there. I do not want to negate that. There are people, and that's okay. That's what so many issues that we kind of tackle here is that it's economic impact. Okay, well, this is good business. Like we could recruit a TV series here, which I would love to have. And that would change our whole town, our whole community. I mean, that'd be a tourism aspect. You look at Sonoya, everybody, you know, that's kind of the one everybody raises. Like that little town, Sonoya, now has a tourism industry and has huge economic impact. I mean, there's huge money turning over and production and everything going on there. So why not recruit that? And that's like what y'all are doing in Dahlonega. Oh, and I think Dahlonega is gorgeous. You wouldn't have to talk me into filming it.
we gotta figure out how to get like a big network to pick up encounters. Then we come to Columbus to film it. Right? That's the plan.
That would be wonderful. That's totally realistic.
That'd be cool.
It really is. We've kind of been coined Hollywood because we have so many based coming here, and we'll take what we can get. And there's been some great people that come through and have been working on some of these, and that's awesome. But we do want to diversify because you don't want to just get pigeonholed because you will miss other stuff.
Right.
It's like, okay, I don't know if they're going to be welcoming for this kind of mature content or rated R content. So we want to continue to diversify that, but we have been really encouraged. We actually just hung with our friend Meredith, who just wrapped Inheritance here. And they've really gotten a lot of national press because they filmed in the middle of a pandemic. And so it's been really cool. Meredith has been, working really on this, trying to get a film made here for 3 or 4 years. And she's from here and she's lived in LA for 20 years. And so they just were able to wrap, but it's been a long process. and Mustard Seed Entertainment came down here, and they've been really impressed, and they want to continue to produce. They just released a movie this weekend called Switched on, I think, just VOD, and downstream released VOD. But they are continuing to want. We kind of have a foothold in the faith-based, based industry, and we love that, and we're seeing momentum there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would love encounters and some, I would like some sci-fi spiritual stuff.
Sci-fi spiritual.
That'd be cool.
That's like up here in Dahlonega. There's a lot of like Hallmark movies, stuff like that, being filmed. So I understand that like desire of not wanting to be pigeonholed in like that only type of movie. And I think that's part of the local creators being like, hey, this is what we're making in this space. Like, you can use this environment not just for, a picturesque thing or a faith-based movie, anything like that. It's like, Columbus is an awesome, looking town. Everything about it is like, you could use so many of those building, the architecture, to make a million different things. Like when we were down there, I think even that last year back in 2018, it was like, oh, this building would be awesome for like some CIA, shot. You're jibbing down and people are walking out of the building, and then they're like from a FBI office or something. And there's just tons of ways that you could twist it. So yeah, I think that's just for the communities being like, look, you can't just do one type of movie.
Yeah.
Well, our town is really so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
We need diverse stories.
Yeah, and we've got Fort Benning here. There's people from all over the world that have, that are in the military that are now kind of just here in the South, especially because of the pandemic. They closed Fort Benning down, and so people are just kind of here, and they're like, okay, what do we do? Where's our place? And we want to be able to, as locals, accommodate everyone. So it is exciting that we do have the diversity in our culture and in the people here, but also in the locations. You're right about that. And thank you for mentioning that, because we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We appreciate the diversity of our town.
And it didn't look like that 20 years ago. I mean, downtown was really run down. So there's a lot to kind of, there's been a lot of work, a lot of locals just doing the hard labor work to restore an old building. I mean, and you find sewer stuff and all, there's all kind of crazy stuff under there. But, we do that work, and then, gosh, bring a filmmaker or showcase it. People want to showcase it. They want it. And that's been cool to be a part of that kind of shift where there was actually one of my breakout blogs or whatever I did on Electric City Life was, I don't feel like I'm in Columbus anymore. And, we had moved back, felt called back, and like, look, it might be a backhand compliment, but it's the truth. This is not the Columbus I was raised in. This is, we're going through this. And really that motto and that energy and that revitalization and renaissance is, we're going to create what we want here. And that's exactly really been what we want to do in all our different projects, but specifically for the film festival, because it's a platform to showcase insanely talented people like y'all and get y'all together in the same room, kind of spark each other. And that's where we didn't want to go virtual, because that was such a big thing for our is to connect and to network. So we'll definitely continue to be, brainstorming on how we can get people in the same place. We're going to be encouraging, I'm sure, masks, because we want people to talk, so it might be some of that, so we'll be continuing to brainstorm on logistics to bring people together, because people are wanting to work. And as y'all see, it's picking back up, and we saw that with Inheritance. It almost really, it's been a national call. Like, look, they just shot a film down in Columbus. I mean, it's been kind of cool. I don't know if y'all have seen some of the stuff on it, but
when did they start filming? Like before the quarantine or
July? But they had to push it.
Okay.
Back.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah. And that's a feature-length film.
It's called Inheritance.
Yeah.
And it had Gerald White, I know, was in it. Mila. I can't say her name. She was an American Beauty. You'd recognize a lot of the stars, some big stars actually, and great concept of the movie, and they shot it July, August, which was so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, wearing the mask and stuff. They were getting tested all the time, and we didn't hang with them when they were pretty strict when they were shooting. We hung with them when they wrapped, and we got to, you know,
but
celebrate.
They were able to do it extremely safely and successfully.
Nobody
and
got it.
You know, I was just really, we were blown away at how professional and how serious they took in all of the extra logistics, not only just, you know, filming but having to do the pandemic and having to
reschedule stuff because they were going to do it in April too.
And then, you know, there were so many logistics that they had to go through that
they were
made
testing
it take longer.
like daily, I believe, or every other. I mean, it was
certain members of the crew were getting tested once a week, and then other members were tested once they came in, and then they had to quarantine together, and then
it's a lot of strategy.
You know, and they all stayed in the same. They stayed in like the same house, and then they, you know, everything was just, they had sanitizer stations everywhere, and they were just really, I mean, nobody got sick. Everybody was great.
And now Meredith is back in LA helping other productions, you know, and kind of talking to the media, saying, look, this is kind of how we did it. So it's that's really encouraging. That happened right here in Columbus. And that's kind of what we find. We're like, oh, these cool little things, you know, happen right here. And so it was cool to be a part of that and talk with them and see they're going to want to come back down here.
Yeah.
When you get supported in a time like that too, you're going to want to come back. And that's been a big thing about the festival too. We want to make sure folks know we support filmmaking here. And so we've been able to kind of recruit some films and people, you know, sometimes you just want to work with people you like or feel like are supporting you. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited for y'all's festival. I think the drive-in theater aspect is, I mean, honestly, I think that's even cooler. I think it worked out in a really cool way because I haven't been to a drive-in theater since I was like in high school probably, but I've always been enamored with them. They're just, it's like this like thing of
Americana.
You know, exactly. Yeah. Days that have long gone.
Americana, you know, play into that. Like, it kind of unify. I'm glad it's going to be after election, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
We're going to skip that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what about, can you tell people like, where can they go to get tickets and everything like that?
You want to say, do you know the link?
Yeah. It's localtix.com. There's also a link on the website. It's popuptowncolumbus.com under the film tab.
Okay.
So, and we've got different tiers of tickets, whether it's VIP, lawn seats, you know, cars, you know, things like that. So, everything's set up. Localtix.com, popuptowncolumbus.com. And we're really excited. People are already purchasing tickets. We've spoken with several people that are really excited about it. So it's really encouraging to know that the community wants, they're still wanting this. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are doing it. It's like, okay, good.
Gotten any pushback?
We're in a good place.
Yeah.
Because they're good about it. Yeah.
And filmmakers, don't you want to come out and see? It'd be great to see your film on the big screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are y'all gonna be able to?
I think we are. Yeah, hope, especially I want to get like photos of it on the drive-in theater screen.
Yes,
because that's just like cool publicity stuff we can use. You know,
absolutely,
exactly. You know, just let's come together and just be creative around this space.
Yeah,
and I'm telling y'all are going to love it. It's an old restored mill. I mean, it's literally the old mills. And so there's like train tracks behind there. It's very inspirational industrial space. So y'all will love that.
Yeah. See, what I really love about it is like, you know, especially we're kind of towards the end of the first episode of the Encounters like festival circuit. And, you know, you see it so many times in a theater space. And after a while, you know, unfortunately, it just kind of wears off because you're familiar with the work from pre-production to all the way through post, and then you watch it several times. So now watching it, on the drive-in screen is almost watching it with fresh eyes.
It's like seeing it
so
again
that's
for the
what
first time.
I'm most excited about, is it's going to be like a completely new experience and a new way to kind of view something that, obviously we're very familiar with.
Yeah.
And something else too is like, we were talking about this on another podcast episode, but we really miss just film festivals in general, and getting to communicate with other filmmakers, getting to just meet each other, talk about each other's work, and just kind of like share in that atmosphere. And I think that that's something that you're going to get at this drive-in theater. It's still going to be social distance, but you're still there with the people. It's not like you're in a dark room watching it through a computer screen.
Yeah. If you're a young filmmaker listening to this, film festivals are one of the best ways to meet other filmmakers, other than like film school itself. It's like because going to networking events most of the time is just a lot of BS. Like, you don't meet any real people that you want to work with. But especially if someone has a film in the festival, you have a film in the festival. Even if you don't, though, and like I never really did this much, but I know Brad, you went to film festivals before you were making movies, really. Yeah. Even doing that's just a great experience, and getting to just see what the world is like. And the cool thing is now they're like everywhere. It's like it's not just Sundance, it's like they're all over Georgia, they're all over the US, and other countries too. I don't know anything about other countries, but
they are. It's true. We actually had people from Paris come in with Fun Academy Motion Picture. We would always host people from all over, and they were like, "Where's your festival? Oh, you have a film festival? You have a film festival?" And it was a very, very big deal to them that we had a film festival. And I also say, Pace Halter, he's the COO of WC Bradley, and they have a soundstage here. And, he's been very supportive, and we've met and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, look, everybody wants to know, where do y'all have a film festival? And, oh, you have a film festival? That's great." And they really didn't like us kind of taking that gap year, but we kind of, had the arrow, right? We had to kind of get back and get re-energized a little bit and rebrand it. But it's that important, because you're not only networking, but you're recruiting people, you're retaining people, because there's now local filmmakers that would have moved away, but now they're making films here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people really do underestimate retention, because once you have somebody, it's not like you have to pay for them to come and, schmooze or talk them into it. They get it already. So you really want to be good to your people so you can retain them. That's kind of been a big thing for the past year or two for me here. Like, we've kind of been recruiting, but like continuing to raise up those people. We have a lot of creatives here, and we have people that are feeling called here, like we are, to be creative here. Yeah. So we want to encourage that and give them a place where they don't have to go to Atlanta to go do it. Right. Because there's a lot of jobs in Atlanta, and people are going to go to Atlanta some.
Yeah. What's the school there, the college?
The CSU, Columbus State University, and we do have a partnership with Georgia Film Academy.
Okay.
So that is here. So,
cool. That's cool. Yeah, I was curious.
Yeah, they work at the soundstage here, Flat Rock. It's Flat Rock Studio. That's the soundstage WC Bradley has. And they work up in Atlanta a lot, because they're going to work where they get some jobs and can, kind of intern.
Cool.
But that's kind of been weird, because people have not been
filming as much.
Sorry, I got like a really heavy memory usage. It's kind of scary. Is
it talking about the computer or your brain?
Too many memories. It's that Neuralink.
It's coming.
One thing I did want to mention about Luke, what you were talking about with just the filmmakers and encouraging filmmakers, and also how film festivals are great for networking and collaborating on projects. Something that we saw that was created out of the film festival is our really good friend Scott Phillips, and he was the moderator at Way Down Film Festival. Yeah. And we love Scott, and he's an attorney by day, but his passion is movies. And he's like you. He goes around and he just goes to film festivals. He loves film festivals. And in us recruiting him to begin moderating, he started going to more and
screening
more
and all that,
more and more film festivals and screening. And now he's part of like the Georgia Film Critic Association
and a national critic.
And he's a national critic now. And 4 years ago, he was just like, I'm just a movie lover.
And he's like, oh, I've started a film society. And I'm like, we sat there and talked for 2.5 hours. I'm like, you're a freaking genius. I'm like, you need to come help us. Like, and that's the kind of like retention, like kind of that collaboration. I had no idea who Scott Phillips was before we started all of this.
And now he's this incredible, I mean, he always was, but now he's getting the notoriety for it, and he's getting the jobs, you know, he's able to write these articles and critique these films and
get access to stuff.
Yeah, and so that's something that we've really loved to see that has come out of just having a festival here, and that's not a filmmaker situation.
But still, he's able to work in film. Like we were able, I'll never forget taking him out, and I was like, all right, we're going to pay you, you know, even, volunteering. I was like, we got to pay you. Pay you. It's like, this is like such a big deal. It's the first time I've been paid, you know, because he didn't necessarily need money, but this is a big deal. Now you're officially in the film business.
Right.
And like there, you know, and that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. You know, we have other cases where we have people that have made films because they were encouraged at our film festival, or now they're full time doing film. Yeah. Because kind of the network and the job, so they can at least do local commercials or you know continue to go up. We have national Super Bowl commercials every year from my partners, Jason Gamache. He does PTAP. So we have a lot of creative folks here, as y'all know. So it has been fun to just kind of unite that indigenous.
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe take that for granted, that having a film society and especially a film festival, that really helps to like reignite the city in a way that it's going to pay off in dividends. You know, it might be, you know, instant and it might be a few years down the road, but it's going to pay off.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been interesting seeing people get more on board when they do see those dividends.
Yeah.
You know, again, whether it's altruistic and they just want a good community, or they see the dividends, whatever, we'll have you all on board, you know? Yeah. We need everyone at the table.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. This has been great.
Yeah.
It's great just catching up with you, and, you know, we're honored to have you on the show.
We're honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're excited to see what y'all are going to come up with too. I keep getting that arrow.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're going to
see you at the film festival too.
Yes, for sure.
We are too.
We're looking forward to it. Especially, we haven't been to any film festivals in so long.
Yes.
And it kind of sucks because we kind of took last year off a little bit from film festivals. We just weren't traveling as much. Even though we got into them, we were like, we just, you know, we don't know if we want to go out or spend the money or whatever. We were just taking a little bit of a break. Then this happens, the pandemic happens, and it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, it's like maybe we need to go back.
Yeah.
Y'all are ready to go now.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready to let the arrow fly now.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see everybody next week.